Hey man, what's up? It is the Ace Micheals Show. Thank you for joining us today. I am always happy to have you with me. That's right, baby, with me. You up in here with your boy, you know what I'm saying? Listen, if you ever want to be on the show, all you have to do is call us. Hey man, you can call us 702-540-3498. I'm tired of giving out the number and not getting phone calls. Y'all can email me, beyondthebuzz@yahoo.com. And listen, if you come on the show, we have no censorship. You can speak your mind. You can talk about your ideas, beliefs, convictions, suggestions, dreams, goals, aspirations, whatnots, and it's all good. There's no censorship here on the show, and we love for you to speak your mind. Today on the show, speaking of speaking your mind, we have a lady with a beautiful mind who came to join us today. Welcome to the show for the first time. My friend Sandy Salgado is here. Sandy, what's going on in your world, darling?
Not much, just another day. I'm just getting started with a lot of my dreams that I've had planned out for some time. I'm finally taking off with blogging, with writing, just a lot of things that I have in the works. So
nice. So let's get right into it. So you're getting started with this. You said this to me off camera too, that you're doing something that you are now for the first time in your life kind of moving in a different direction with blogging and all of this other stuff that you're doing. First off, what is it that you're doing so that everybody understands it? And then second off, why?
Well, I started off, I've had a couple of actually many dreams, as I think we all have. But I've started recently blogging. I've been drawn to writing my entire life. Somewhere along the lines of just motivating people. I think that we, as a society, we live in such a negative world. We live in such with so much negativity around us that I'm here. My dream, my idea is to just bring out the beautiful in people. Just remind people that as bad as a situation may be, that there is room for change and that you can reverse all the damage that the world has caused. I'm a lover of all things. I live for the people, and that's exactly what I want to bring. That's the message that I'm trying to bring to the community, to the world. You know, like I said, there's so much negativity out in the world that I want to reverse the damage. I want to remind individuals that there is hope, that there are other people out there that have gone through the hardship, through the storms that you're enduring at the moment, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So.
Wow. So there's a couple things I want to address. The first thing is, just so you know, there's always been negativity. Like there was this kid, Cain, and his brother Abel. Then there was this guy they put on a cross. Like, what makes you think that there's not always going to be negativity? Like, negativity is kind of how we get down as humans. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're absolutely right. I'm not here to end violence in the world. I'm not here to promote some fake idea of, live inside a bubble and the world will be okay, the world will change as long as you think it. No, but I think that because there is so much violence, because there is so much negativity, that you need hope in the world. You need somebody to, sometimes it's almost, I'm pretty sure you've heard of the saying, you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink the water. It's as simple as that. Yes, nobody is going to change unless they're willing to change. But sometimes, you can influence the person. You can reach deep down within them and just remind them. Like I said, we live in a society where there's so much negativity and violence in the world that we forget how to be positive. Mm-hmm. We become molded and just secluded and emboxed in this idea that there's no hope, that we see it on social media, for example, all the time, where kids nowadays, teenagers, they're out there walking around with their cell phones, and they'd rather record a fight of bullies beating down on innocent preys, and there's a difference. Instead of having that mentality of, let me record this, let me stop the fight. Let me be that person that institutes change. Let me lead by example, so to say.
So, Sandy, let me ask you this. So, you could have been anything. Obviously, you could have been a beauty queen from a movie scene. But what happened to you to make you see the world this way? I mean, were you born this way? Nobody's born this way. Like, something apparently triggered a change. Did you accidentally run into a tree and you were like, oh my God, we need to save trees?
Not quite. No, I didn't exactly run into a tree per se. As I feel we've all encountered many things in life. We've all endured struggle. We've all gone through storms. It's just, my entire life, I'm a healer, so to say. I want to be that person to save you. I want to be that person to give that, that shoulder to cry on, that listening ear, that person that you can find comfort in. The reason being, to answer your question, it's just my entire life I've been in a position where I've been through failure. I'm a divorced woman. I've encountered loss. Just many things that I've gone through that I feel that people can relate. I feel that because my entire life, I was told you cannot do things, or it's easier to stay on the other side than to go after your dream, or settle for what you have already. There's nothing better. I heard that so much for so long that I believed it. I started to believe it, and recently, I'm a woman of faith as well, and I've recently fell at the feet of Christ, and that my faith in itself has just awakened something inside of me that, I feel like if I'm capable now. I'm tired. I finally reached that point in my life now in my 30s where I'm just tired of failing. I'm tired of failure, and I don't want to continue down a path when I know that I'm perfectly capable of offering something genuine to the world, that I know that I can contribute and that can grow, that I can inspire people to get outside of their comfort zone. Sometimes all we need is an encouraging person to be on the other side and cheer you on and say, you can absolutely do this. And I've come across those people so many times recently that I'm finally there. I'm finally in a state of mind where I believe I can change. I'm not saying change the world, but if I can change one person's world, that can become a ripple effect. That can become a domino effect. So it's movement that's waiting to happen.
And so you're a person who's clearly found a path that is your path. My question is, how committed are you to your path? Like, are you about to go Gandhi with this and not eat for 90 days? And, like when we find, usually a person is willing to go as far with their commitment as they're comfortable with. So we say, I'm all about not eating pork. Oh, but that's bacon? Pork ain't bacon, dog. Go ahead and give me one of them slices. You know what I mean? So where do you see this going? What's your end game?
I really don't believe that there is a limit. I know that I have goals that I have to set out and conquer, but there is no limit. There is really no limit as to where I'm going. All I know is that I want to be that person to change. I want to be that person to inspire. Now, you mentioned, am I going Gandhi? I believe that everything requires sacrifice.
Hold on a second. Going Gandhi, not to be copyright. Okay. We got, you know what I'm saying? Because we got people that are writers at home to be like, whoa, screenwriter, going Gandhi. Nice one, mate. Okay, going Gandhi, not to be copyright. It's Michael Show. Okay, thank you. We can't use going Gandhi. Okay, go ahead.
That spiritual gangster, so to say.
Spiritual gangster. Now you do it. Don't try it, Holmes. You go to the club, next thing you know, spiritual gangster. Spiritual gangster. Anyway, no, go ahead. I'm sorry, I digress. So
it's a matter of realizing there's I feel like there's two types of wants in the world. There's the, oh yeah, absolutely, I want $1 million. But there's the, oh yes, I'm going to do everything it takes, that kind of want to get those $1 million. So there's a, I want $1 million, but I'll settle with what I have, or I'm doing everything it takes. I'm right here. I'm doing everything it takes to get to where I want to be. I have the vision, I have the drive, I have the passion. I think that we are all created with a purpose.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, what your purpose is, I don't know. I've recently embodied my purpose, and that's what I'm trying to just go for. I'm just, there's no textbook as to how to get there. There's no dictionary. There's no direction. It's a matter of just taking that leap of faith and just moving forward and like they say, rolling with the punches.
You know, what's interesting about what you're saying is, I've done this show for 5 years now, almost. Maybe this is even the anniversary of our 5th year, right around. But people come on my show and they talk about self-help, helping others, people seeing a larger vision for themselves, people going for their goals. But we don't ask them to do that. Like, I don't send anything out that says, hey, you're only welcome on the show if you have a positive message for humanity. So I'm finding that either there's a shift in the natural energy that's going on out there, or people just care more. Like, I had a white man who contacted me to be on the show, and I said, well, okay, what would you like to talk about? And he said, I'd like to talk about Black Lives Matter. And I was like, well, I'm black. Yeah, they do matter. Yeah, they do matter. Anyway, but I thought that was interesting that here's this guy who felt so compelled by what's going on in the news that he felt he had to step out of his comfort zone and say something about it. And now here you are today, and you're not selling a book. You're not trying to get people to sign up for some type of multi-million-dollar megalomaniac thing. You're just saying, plain and simple, that you've dedicated your life to this mission of helping other people open their own doors and find their own path, which is interesting. Being a person of faith, I presume you're a Christian. Is this the end days type of thing? Is this why you're coming with this now? Are you thinking like this is the end of the world? And
not at all.
No, not at all?
Not at all.
Thank God for that. Because I got some things I want to do. Woo! Good thing.
Not at all. The scripture, it tells us we don't know when that time will come.
Right.
We are seeing more and more violence every day, but as far as my beliefs, my faith, I'm not in a position to say absolutely. There's context, there's textbook where on, December, whichever day, this is the end of the world is going to come to pass. No.
Now, I want to interject one thing though. Okay, because you've said this, other people said this. This kind of upsets me when people say this. This whole thing about we're in a more violent society than ever. Really? Because if you go back, 500 years ago, they used to come in the middle of the night and kill everybody in their sleep, and then take their blood and write raps on their drawers with it and stuff. Is it really, or are we just more aware of it because of social media? It's always been violent.
You're absolutely right.
It's tough living on planet Earth, man. Let's be honest.
You're absolutely right. I completely agree with you. Violence has been around since day one.
Right. And of course, we're not advocating violence, but we do have to call attention to it. Yeah, correct. There is lots of violence going on, and Absolutely. There always has been.
Now, what I mean by there's a lot of violence nowadays, we see it more and more. It's because we do have access to social media, because it's at our fingertips to be able to tune in to killings, to rapes, to, assassins, all kinds of things that are just everything, right. In a nutshell. But what I mean is that now we're just justifying it. We justify shootings in school. We justify gang rapes. We justify, people being bullied. And that's what I mean by we see more and more violence because we're just in an era, in a society, and a time where everything, we find an excuse for everything.
Now, have we justified it? Or are we just becoming desensitized to it? I don't think, I'm a guy, and guys do most rape, and I have never run into a guy, of all the guys I've ever met, that thought rape was cool. I never saw one guy say, well, I had to rape her. It's not something that is okay. It's not. I've never run into someone who said, I'm thinking about becoming a terrorist. if things don't work out with this postal job, I might go ahead and do that. So I don't know that we accept it, but we get so much of it that as fast as our president can be Donald Trump, we don't have any control over it. So we can do about it. Like now, I stopped watching the news because it's like, y'all keep talking about what he's saying and doing, but ain't nobody going to change it. So I'm done. I don't even want to hear about it anymore. But is that the solution? No, of course not. I should do something about it. I should get more active. I should vote in my local community. I should, blah, 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 blah. But of course I'm not going to do all that because I'm so tired of the circus, right? So it's the same thing. We complain about violence against women, but then it happens so frequently that after a while, we just realize we can't do anything about it. And I'm not saying this is right. I'm conversing with you about what would you think we could do about all of this violence and this apathy in our society. What could we do besides pray?
Ace, you hit a very, very good point. You're absolutely right. I think that because of the times, again, that we live in, we've become such a desensitized robotic world. We see it day in and day out that we're not affected by it anymore. And, earlier in the interview I mentioned, I'm here to try and encourage everyone or not to try, but to encourage everyone to reverse the damage that we have brought upon ourselves. Like I said, we were surrounded, and I mean we're surrounded by all this negativity because it's around us. Social media, news, in our backyards, in our neighborhoods, everywhere you go, it's easier to focus on the negative, on the violence, than it is on a hopeful heart, on a hopeful end game, and it's because there's so much of it. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to change that. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to recreate beauty, and not necessarily, let me rephrase that, not recreate beauty. I'm here to bring out that beautiful side of everyone that I know that everybody has, as cliche as that may sound. That's the idea that I have. That's the vision that I have, that the Lord has brought upon me, that I cannot continue sitting around with nothing but good intentions in my heart. I need to take action.
But wouldn't you say that's kind of what most people really want? Like, no one's born a bigot. Like, you just aren't born a bigot. You don't want to just be a thug as 3 years old and you're like, yo, I'm ready to go out and be a thug. You learn that behavior.
Exactly.
So if you walk into a room and there's 100 people, Sandy, how many of those people do you think really are in line with your thinking but just haven't taken action on it yet? Would you say it's 35% or 50%? Maybe it's 90%.
I feel like you mentioned, we're not born racist. We're not born we may be born into violence, depending on our background or the family that we're born into. But we're not born with hate in our heart. We are not born with that. So we've become that because of our circumstances, because of our surroundings. I think that everything is reversible. Can you take away the time that you spent in jail? Can you take away the time, the history that you have? Absolutely not. But I feel like you can use it to better yourself. Everyone has a choice. Everyone has a choice. And that is what I'm here to remind you of. That you have, it doesn't matter if you spend the last 20 years in jail. You have a choice to change. You have a choice to use that to benefit you, to grow, to mature as a human being and offer the best version of you. So that is what I want people to understand, that it doesn't matter the history that you have. It doesn't matter the past that you've carried with you. There's a point in your life where you can stop, let go of the past, take the lesson with you, and move forward.
So let's do a case point example. So Sandy says you have a choice, you can change your life. All right, so here's where I'm at. I'm living in the ghetto. Every day on my way to school, I'm bullied by kids who are in a gang, and they tell me that I'm going to continue to get bullied and sometimes physically abused if I don't join this gang. If I join the gang, the bullying stops. But I don't want to join the gang. So every day I get pelted with rocks. I get called names. My little sister walks with me. She gets called names. And this is going to happen unless I join this gang. But you're telling me I have a choice. What could I do differently in this situation?
I mean, it's a very touchy subject. I do appreciate that you brought that out because it's as real as it gets. It's what we deal with every day. Unfortunately, there is no right answer for that. All I can tell you is if you have it in your heart where you believe that you can escape that, then you will. There is a way out. You do, like I said, you can turn all the negativity that surrounds you into positive. How? You can say, I'm this kid that's going down the street each and every day and I'm getting rocks thrown at me and I'm getting beaten to the ground. But it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of yes, this is my situation, but it's called hope and it's called faith. And I'm in the situation now, but there will be a day that if I stick it through and if I make the best of my situation, I will get past it. I will come out on the other side. How long it's going to take, I cannot tell you. But know that whatever it is that you're going through, you can use as stepping stones. One, to better your life, to structure and become a wiser person. And not only that, but again, I'm here not for me. I'm here for the people. I want to use my testimony. I want to use my history, my past to help others. Because yes, I was, sexually molested as a child. I was nearly raped, as a young teenager. I've gone through divorce. I've suffered from depression, and all of it has in total just made me stronger, wiser, more humble. And that is what I want to bring to the community, that yes, you might be in a situation where things, you feel like they're out of your reach, like there's no hope for tomorrow, like the only thing that you can do is just either survive the day or hang yourself with the rope. And and I tell you this because I've come across a lot of human beings that I've been in the position, by the grace of God, that I've come to their door, or I've met them at a coffee shop, stumbled upon them, and I've talked to them. And they've told me at the end of our either 10-minute conversation or 1 hour or 2-3 hour conversation, had it not been for the words that you gave me, I would have done something stupid. So I believe I'm very passionate about my calling. I'm very passionate about what it is that I'm trying to start to create, because like I said, there's so much violence. There's just, people have lost hope. People have lost hope, and that is what I'm trying to I'm trying to re-engage people with hope, with faith, with believing that there is room for change.
And that is what's up. Hey man, it is the Ace Micheals show. I can't close the show stronger than that. Listen, we'll be passing the plate around. We expect a contribution to the no, I'm kidding. Listen, here's a thought that popped into my head. Sometimes we focus on Jesus. Sometimes we focus on Gandhi. Sometimes we focus on Muhammad. Sometimes we focus on, Mother Teresa. But a lot of times we lose sight of the fact that it's those people who actually motivated so many other people. And sometimes those people that were motivated are nameless, but they still do good in the name of Jesus or in the name of Gandhi or Moses or, whatever. So I want to just think about, and I'd love to get your emails on this thought. Who are the people right now that are the Jesus to you that you can say honestly have changed your life and motivated you to do a forward-moving thing? I mean, when you think about it, there's been a lot of people in your life probably that have gone unsung as a hero to you, and we need to recognize those people. It's the Ace Micheals Show. If you want to send your thoughts, opinions, beliefs, convictions, suggestions, you can send them to our email address is beyondthebuzz@yahoo.com. I want to thank my friend Sandy Salgado. Sandy, how do people reach you if they want to contact you on that social media?
My Facebook name is Sandy Salgado. I can actually add a link at the end of the viewing. I also just started a blog, Life As I Know It, at Life As I Know It. Again, it's just motivation, what you're going to find there. So that's a way to reach me, or by email as well, salgado.sandy84@gmail.com.
And that is what's up. Hey man, you know what I say at the end of every show, and I still mean it. Live the life you love the life you live. Thank you.
Amen.
And we out.